Commissioner Gary Bettman kind enough to join us now here. Commissioner, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing great, and it's terrific to be with you guys again. Yeah, last night was special. I mean, to see Brad's emotional reaction and the fans' connection to him. They gave him like a 3-minute ovation, and you could see he was genuinely touched. Boston has been a big part of his life, personally and professionally, and I know it had to be very emotional in a conflicting sort of way for him to be back. But I'm sure he was happy to get the win, and that game ended in spectacular fashion.
It really did. It was a remarkable game and a remarkable moment. And you're right. So much of that relationship, we see the guys in this league, especially the way they lay it on the line for these franchises. The fans seem to love that, but he also did get to leave and go taste another bit of that championship joy last year. And Commissioner, now the Florida Panthers get to go after the Three-Peat, something that we haven't seen in quite some time. How good is it for hockey to have a team like this that now has the target on their back in the way they do?
Well, it's fun to watch, although Florida's a little banged up right now with Barkov and Tkachuk out. But at the end of the day, what we pride ourselves on is extraordinary competitive balance. And, it's a great race. The last probably 6 weeks to 2 months of our regular season are virtually a play-in tournament. And after the regular season, once the playoffs begin, anything can happen. You look at our first round, I don't think there's anything that compares to it in sports. And when you think about how competitive our league is year to year, I mean, Detroit and Utah both missed the playoffs last season, and they're off to incredible starts. I think Detroit is 5-1 and Utah is 5-2. And I think Utah, after the partial renovation of the Delta Center, is 4-0 at home. So there are great stories. Players, teams are doing great things. And it's really, the season's off to a really entertaining and exciting start.
So Florida wins the last 2 Stanley Cups, and they played the Edmonton Oilers in both those Stanley Cups. How important was it for the team and the league to have basically the best player in hockey, Connor McDavid, sign a team-friendly deal for Edmonton?
Well, I think it was great for the Edmonton Oilers. He wasn't going anywhere in terms of the NHL, so we knew he'd be playing. But I know he's committed to Edmonton, to the organization, and most importantly, to the fans. I think he really wants is an understatement, to bring a Stanley Cup to Edmonton. And I think that's something he's focused on. And it's nice to see the team commitment, that a player understands that under a cap system like ours, it's not about one player. It's about having an assemblage of players who together can do it. And he's given Oilers management some flexibility and an opportunity to make good on his desire to make it all happen.
And he has certainly made it happen. He's one of the many young stars that have been so impactful in this game. But we know this sport also has a couple of aging veteran stars who have been fantastic. Sidney Crosby's 38 years old. Alexander Ovechkin trying to become the first NHL player with 900 career goals. How do you describe the impact these guys have had on the game?
I mean, Sid and Alex have obviously had parallel careers in terms of when they've been in the league. Pittsburgh and Washington have had great rivalries, great games together. Alex broke Wayne Gretzky's goal-scoring record, which nobody thought could ever be broken. And I think he's 2 goals away from 900. Sid just passed Mario Lemieux, of all people, for 7th all-time in combined regular season and playoff points. These are 2 players who have been extraordinary on the ice. They've been extraordinary teammates for their teams. They represent everything that's great about our game in terms of commitment and passion and teamwork. And they've been great ambassadors for the game of hockey off the ice as well. I hope they play forever. Obviously, nobody can. And when they ultimately decide to retire, we're going to miss them. But there's a whole great young crop of young players, starting with Matthew Schaefer, 18 years old. He has points in his first 6 games in the NHL, which I think is the first defenseman in NHL history to do that. He had a game-winning goal last night against San Jose. I mean, so there are great stories. And, there's Bedard, there's Celebrini. I mean, as great as the Ovechkins and Crosbys are, and the McDavids and the Dreisaitl's, and the list goes on and on. What's great to see is there's a young crop of exciting, skilled young players coming into the league.
And listen, Commissioner, the sport is as popular as it's ever been. Thanks in part, obviously, earlier this year, the Four Nations Face-Off event was one of the best things I have seen in a long time. And to kind of piggyback on that, why was it so important for the league to return to the Olympics next February in Italy? It hasn't been there since 2014.
Well, two things. One, Four Nations was intended to be, if you will, the appetizer on bringing back international best-on-best hockey. Going to the Olympics, taking a 2-week plus break during the regular season is a little disruptive, and we can go through all the reasons for that. But ultimately, it was clear to us that it was important to our players that they get to represent their countries in international best-on-best. We have players from over 20 countries. Our players have a history and tradition of representing their countries from the time they're teenagers. 30% of our players come from outside of North America. You can see the emotion and the passion that our players bring to international best-on-best, as you saw in Four Nations. And for all those reasons, but most importantly, and we know the fans are going to love it, and that's great, but most importantly, our players wanted it, and they made it clear to us that this was important to them, and we respect that.
That certainly, no doubt, showed up on the ice, the way the players approached and attacked that. One of the other things that we've seen become so popular. Quite literally.
Literally in the first game between Canada and the U.S. But yes, this was the real deal for them. I know a lot of people speculated going in, it would just be an exhibition. It was nothing like that. This was as authentic as you could see any competition.
Yeah, I don't think these guys are capable of just going and playing an exhibition game. There's one speed when these guys step onto the ice, and it's part of what people love so much. People also seem to love the stadium games you guys do. 2 more this year. The Panthers are going to play in the Miami Marlins Stadium on January 2nd. The Lightning are going to play the Buccaneers Stadium on February 1st. How and why have those continued to be such an important part of the NHL calendar season?
If you've never been to one of these, on TV they look great and they're spectacular, and I think we had record or almost record ratings from the game we did at Ohio State last year with the Columbus Blue Jackets and Detroit Red Wings, and I think there were 94,000 people there. But they are amazing events to be at. Bringing that many people together at a hockey game, being in the elements, it's the ultimate reality show. It's the ultimate feel-good event. We hadn't been to Florida for kind of obvious reasons in terms of the weather. We've done 43 outdoor games, I believe, and we've had to make some weather adjustments in terms of when we actually dropped the puck. We thought we have the capability and the expertise in terms of putting on these events in the ice making to try 2 games in Florida. So on January 2nd, we're playing at Lone Depot in Miami, and on February 1st, we're playing at Raymond James in Tampa. People have questioned our sanity. The Lightning have played an outdoor game in Nashville. The Panthers have yet to play an outdoor game. And both organizations, both fan bases, both cities have been demanding, is probably as good a word as I can come up with, to have that opportunity. And obviously, we think we can make it happen. The games are obviously going to be played as the sun goes down, as at night. Playing in a dome stadium gives us the opportunity to prepare the ice in advance without the elements. And we'll open up the roof and be outdoors. And as long as it's not 90 degrees and 100% humidity, we should be fine. In Tampa, which Raymond James is an outdoor stadium, we're actually constructing a facility over the ice to build the ice, and then we got to tear it down and open it up. Logistically, these are going to be the most challenging games we've had. But, what's life without an occasional challenge? And it should be fun for people to watch. And the anticipation of making it all happen should make for must-see TV, in addition to how good the event will be for people who actually attend in person. Great way to start the new year.
Yeah, years ago, I went to when the Blackhawks played at Notre Dame Stadium, and there was no worry about it being too warm there, and it snowed. It was just an incredible sight. So really looking forward to that. Also, the CBA takes effect next year, and one of the things that's going to happen is the regular season goes from 82 to 84 regular season games. What was the reasoning for adding 2 regular season games?
Well, this wasn't the reason, but I'll get to that in a second. The response was, okay, we're going to shorten the preseason and reduce the number of exhibition games by half, down to 4. The thinking was our teams and our players probably would prefer to play regular season games than more preseason games. But more important, we knew it was something that our teams wanted, that every team plays every other team twice, other conference, once home, once away. And we were a little unbalanced within division, which was some teams played each other 4 times, 2 home, 2 away, and others 3 times, rotating. This new format gives us the ability within division to have every team within the division to play everybody else in the division 2 times at home, 2 times and away. The other division in your conference, that'll be 3 times rotating, 2 home and 1 away, or the other way around. But this gave us the ability to ensure that the division rivalries were appropriately taken care of during the regular season.
Well, it's certainly more hockey, the better for fans and everyone involved. So I'm sure that'll be tremendously well received, as has most everything recently from the NHL Commissioner. We appreciate the time. Congrats on the start of another great season, and we're looking forward to all these events as the year gets going.